our stream deck worked today. I changed nothing from last night to tonight, and the scene successfully changed. And so we've got our lovely sparkly background, which doesn't really exist, but hey, breaks things up and helps me stand out because of my wonderful face. How is everyone doing? Another surprise stream because I favor irrationality over what's that thing that everyone says you need as a YouTuber? Consistency. That's right, consistency and schedule. Who needs that, right? Let's just fuck around and have fun. So, part of the reason, excuse me, my windshield was a bit crooked. Part of the reason is because something really interesting, and that's potentially overselling this, but something I literally noticed in the trending on Twitter was hashtag milkshake, and that was trending under politics. And after some very brief searching, I came to find out that it is a government initiative to look at consent, and apparently it's something really fucking weird and bizarre. I haven't read anything beyond a couple of headlines when I did do the initial desktop search on google.com, everybody's favorite website. And yeah, there seems to be quite a lot of articles talking about how bizarre whatever this thing is. And I'll be honest, I'm intrigued at tacos and milkshakes and what they could function as in terms of allegories for, you know, the gentle art of seduction and how consent fits into that. So I will say up front, and for some reason my background stopped shimmering, but I will say up front that none of this is to intended or will be presented in any way to sort of diminish the importance of consent. Obviously, that's something that's very important. Enthusiastic, informed consent is kind of the basis of any relationship between people that is sexual in nature. So while we might have some fun here, it is going to be at the way the message is presented, I presume, and not necessarily, or not even necessarily, not at all the message itself. So please don't misconstrue any of the fun that we're hopefully about to have with me sort of minimizing the importance of consent. So we've loaded the front with that. Feel free to clip, chimp away afterwards and take anything out of context, and we will see how we go. So, hey, Ring, who the fuck knows? And I love milkshakes, so we'll see if we get any milkshake stories out of me, because this already looks like it's going to make me thirsty because I can see some delicious looking milkshake cups just on my second one at the moment. So let's have some boring water and get started. So, come on stream. Hey, we're still going. And look, my background's animating on this one. Why did it stop animating on the other one? Now it's animating and now it stopped. Now, anyway, who knows? Who knows? We will only get better over time. So, here is the full website. So, I don't know what it's like in other countries. I don't spend a lot of my time on formal government websites for countries outside of Australia. Frankly, I spend enough time on Australian government websites that it's probably already weird just for Australians anyway. But this is the federal government's webpage. Dane, I am a, what's the word, slut for milkshakes. So I'll take anyone's milkshake at this point, quite frankly. Oh, my cat, my wonderful cat. Give me one sec. And she's gone. All right, we're going to leave the door open, and that way my wife can hear me, and my cat can come and go as she pleases without scratching on the door as we're about to get started. So, back to this. Have not seen it. No idea what the fuck's going to happen. It's only 1 minute 42 seconds, so it's not going to be a long stream, I hope. That's not my intent anyway. We may click around some of these other links because there's a bunch of resources here, and we'll see what kind of hijinks we can get into. I was originally going to just record this as a short and do a pre-edit, but I had my stuff set up from last night's stream, and I thought, who cares? Let's just go live. See what happens. That already gives me good place vibes. Sorry. It's occurring to me that it's possible that this was written by an old person, and I don't say that to be derogatory. I mean old as in sort of my age. This reminds me of Archie comics and Betty and Veronica, and the fact that they would all hang out at a milk bar all the time. Because I mean, you don't sort of sit and drink milkshakes these days, really. Give me 1 sec. What I need to do is... Oh, Streamlabs, you disappoint me constantly. I was trying to get my chat text to be a little bit bigger because I can actually adjust the chat text when it is on Twitch mode, but not on YouTube mode apparently. So I'll just quickly move that. But yeah, let's go. Betty and Archie. No, that's Veronica, right? That's Veronica, and then we've got Archie here. Let's see how this progresses. She doesn't have a straw in her milkshake. He has a straw in his milkshake. I feel like that's a symbol. Like let's get real deep into this, right? Let's take everything that's happening here and let's just push the symbolism to the max. There's a yonic milkshake and there's a phallic milkshake, and he is going solid, and that's fine. But that face, that is a spurned young lady there. That is definitely a freeze frame. Hang on. Hang on. Wait. Thumbnail. There we go. All right, come on. I'm glad this is only 142. I've got mixed feelings that this is a very serious topic, and I feel like they're on the line of trivializing it, but I get they're trying to be hip and they're trying to appeal to, like, you know, let's take a subject that's very important and make it less confrontational to try and make sure that it's a bit more, I guess, palatable. And without getting any further, let's not undermine the, I guess, the potential motive of making it so cringy it kind of goes viral. So there may be a bit of that in there. So no audio from the stream. No. Oh, I know what I've done. I'm a fool. Okay, we're going to go from the start again. It wasn't far. I had muted the desktop when I was still going live so I could do stuff on the computer and it wouldn't go through the stream, and I forgot to unmute it. So from the top. That is so retro. The pinball, the milk bar. There's no audio coming through yet, is there? What the hell is going on? I know what's going on. It hates me. Properties. I am the king of live. You know how much easier it is to stream on Twitch than it is on YouTube? Now I can see the volume.
To cross into the action zone, both people must agree.
Do you want to try my milkshake?
Yes,
Brings all the boys to the yard.
Is it better than yours?
Uh-huh.
You know what? I think I prefer mine.
But what happens when one person takes action without an agreement?
You do, huh? Well, drink it. Drink it all.
What are you doing?
Drink it all.
This is what we call moving the line. When a person imposes their will on you, it's as if they were moving the yes line over the maybe zone or the end zone, ignoring your
Insert my
bridge
previous
in the
commentary
world.
here.
and violating your individual freedoms and rights. And that's not good.
Correct.
Moving the line is at least disrespectful, at worst abusive.
It's just a funny game, Bailey.
Okay. I've got a problem with what they just said. And I feel like what they've just said has minimized what they're talking about. They're talking literally about taking action on people without their consent. And they've... What was the phrase? It was...
And that's not good. Moving the line is at least disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
At worst, abusive.
Abusive. At least disrespectful, at worst abusive. Now, here is a proposition. It is at least abusive and at worst criminal. Like, yeah, I don't like that choice of language. That, you know, on the report card there, you are losing pretty significant marks for diminishing what is being, like, let's face it, there's milkshakes here. It's frothy fun, but it is very specifically an allegory for, you know, pretty serious things. So I think that language, poor choice. How did this get past review? Anyway, let's carry on.
It's just a funny game, Bailey. I know you really like my milkshake.
How does a line move make you feel?
Okay, this is trending in political, so I can say something political. He looks like a young liberal. Like, he looks like the stereotypical young liberal haircut. Always the striped shirts, collars, even when he's at a fucking milkshake bar. Anyway.
It depends. For instance, some decisions may be more important to you than others. Moving the line on should we have pizza for dinner may not upset you as much as moving on can I touch your butt? Similarly, if someone moves the line once, it might not matter to you. But if someone moves...
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. If someone does it once, it might not matter to you. Whether or not it matters to a individual, if someone else has minimized the role of consent in an interaction, doesn't mean that that action is not bad or shouldn't be something that that person reflects on in the future. Okay, maybe this isn't going to be as fun and frothy as I thought. We haven't got to the tacos yet, though, so...
the line over and over again, even on small decisions, then you might come to feel very upset. But the field model is clear. In a free and equal relationship, whoever moves the line is breaking the rules. They don't get to say how you feel. You have every right to be as upset as you like.
I'm really angry at you right now.
Oh, you're just being silly.
In serious cases, a line move may make you consider the quality of your entire relationship.
Is this a respectful relationship?
In a respectful relationship, if someone moves the line, you might be upset, but ultimately want to repair
Is that a
the
real
situation.
game?
Veronica,
The pinball?
sometimes I don't like the way you treat me, and I need you to apologize so I know you've understood what you...
It's difficult sometimes to criticize the acting, just because they can only pick two people, right? There's two people in this interaction. That's all it's going to be. I think in any instance, having a male aggressor is going to be, it's going to lose the tone I think they're going for. So I can understand why they've made the female the aggressor in the circumstance, because it's less threatening. I mean, is that an issue in itself? Because, you know, men generally do have a little bit more ability to intimidate people into pushing that line back without consent. Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, there is teaching materials on this website. So this is intended for kids. I'm not sure what age. Like I said, I've gone into this blind because I was hoping for some real good cringe stuff. And we might get it still. We haven't got to the tacos yet, so hey, fingers crossed. But there is also definitely a very... I almost want to say it's... Well, look, every decision is going to be done for a purpose. And we have a very non-intimidating young man here. I'm not saying anything about his looks. You know, he's a cute enough guy, but he's not being presented. He's not done made up. He's not dressed as someone that might come across as intimidating. Like me, with my scruffy beard and my fucking... But anyway.
You've done.
I'm sorry, Bailey. I've been forcing you to drink my milkshake even though you don't want to. And I've plastered it all over your face and made you feel terrible.
Oh, they were so proud they got that in there.
But if someone moves the line on something important, or moves it repeatedly on even small things, then you might decide you have a disrespectful relationship.
Why am I here?
If a relationship is fundamentally disrespectful, you have even more difficult choices. Should you still try to repair the relationship, get help, or just walk away?
You don't go anywhere.
In extreme cases, you may feel unsafe to stay or to leave, and wonder what you need to do to protect yourself. Meanwhile, if you are the person who moved the line, will you recognize what you're doing and stop yourself? Or continue blindly until someone stops you?
Get off me, Veronica! I hate you so much right now.
What am I doing? I'm hurting Bailey to make myself feel more powerful.
That is...
I have to stop this.
that is pretty basic.
Can you take responsibility for what you've done?
I'm
That's
sorry, Bailey. Please forgive me.
No, Veronica.
I think overall what I'm getting from this is that it is maybe playing into the playfulness of the setting too much, and that's detracting from the seriousness of being trapped in that type of relationship. Fuck. Thought this was going to be fun. Come on,
Veronica, I just
tacos.
want you to leave me alone.
Can you respect the other person?
I understand. But please, no, I don't want to be this way.
It's too late, Veronica.
Do you get help of your own?
Oscar, am I a bad person?
Yes.
Veronica,
Yes.
I think you should talk to a professional.
Maintaining any relationship is hard work. But handling a disrespectful relationship can be upsetting, lonely, even dangerous. In fact, it can be one of the hardest things we do in our lives. This is why it is important to be able to recognize a line move,
A pro
make
and
sense
con
of your
list.
feelings,
Yeah.
and consider your options. And remember, you can always find someone to support you, no matter which side of the line you're on. Next time on The Good Society...
It is ripping
Stepping
off
in.
The Good Place, 100%. What happened to the tacos? I saw tacos on headlines. Disappointing. Disappointing. Look, overall, like I said at the start, generally the message is fine overall. Yes, people in those circumstances, they do need to make steps to, help themselves, and they do need support in a lot of cases to make those steps. So, I'm not going to pull it apart word by word, but I feel like in a discussion about consent, there was a lot more important things that should have been touched on, and I worry that by itself sort of minimizes it. But yeah, definitely, Ring. Let's see. All right, what I'm gonna do is let's have a look at the website a little bit more. Let's see. See, now, I'll be honest, the noise that I've seen about how cringy it is, that probably was being oversold, just looking at that particular video. I wonder if it's because there's a few videos. So... Okay, so there is another video here. And it's from Dan Harmon, creator of Rick and Morty. So we might watch that. But let me see if we can find a bit more information about what it's aimed at. There is a teacher guide. Here we go. Activities and extras. Okay, it's pretty sparse, we'll be honest. Here we go. Appropriate for year 10, 11, and 12. Right. With that information, I'm going to think back to what I was like in those grades. And I'm going to boldly assert that at the age of 15, 16, and 17, I was capable of having more serious discussions than smearing milkshake on someone's face. Particularly, I think that's important when it comes to discussing consent, because that's the age where consent becomes something that is sort of immediately relevant to people in that age group. So I'm actually going to a bit more firmly push back against the overall tone of the piece, because I think the tone kind of betrays how serious it is, because we do have a real big issue with consent overall. You particularly see the news in Australia over the last couple of months. It's been demonstrated that, you know, adults have some pretty significant issues with consent when, you know, they should explicitly know better. So, you know, when we're looking at kids that are, you know, within the years that they are forming into adults, so year 10, 11, 12, like I said, that's 15, 16, 17 in Queensland. That would be 16, 17, 18 in some of our southern states, because they're just a little bit behind us Queenslanders, you know, the smart state. I think you can have some more direct and more challenging conversations about the nature of consent, and particularly enthusiastic and informed consent, because I think enthusiastic and informed is something that people do struggle with, and also something that people can feel pressured into giving consent without having that enthusiasm behind it as well. So I will, if this came across my desk for review as a draft or a script, I would probably push back on that. My feedback, and you know what, I wasn't the one given this job, so you know, ignore what I have to say. But let's see Dan's admission. I'm curious because, again, Rick and Morty, Dan Harmon, also the Community. Interesting that he's part of a Australian government thing. Or they've just cribbed this off YouTube.
I've had a lot of advice.
11 minutes. We're not
Don't
going to
talk
watch all
about
this.
it. You don't have to talk about it. It's done. Legal advice. Don't talk about it. You open yourself up. The most important advice I've gotten is from women that I respect, that do what I do, that are respected, and that spoke to me.
All right. I'm not going to watch this. Feel free to watch that in your time. It looks like that's just been cribbed from YouTube, and it's not actually a formal part of this actual government initiative. Is there anything else that's interesting? There's activities and stuff. Oh no, that's okay. I was thinking like there's something here about CPR and shit, and like how fuck does it get real dark? But no, I think it's a different curriculum that they're just linking to. And okay, teacher guide and talking points. Playlist information. Okay, sorry, I'm reading this on my other screen because it's closer to my face, but that's probably not as useful for you guys on the stream. There's not a lot of actual extra information here. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking to see if like the video may just be considered, hey, this is, you know, one of the very many tools in the toolkit that we're giving out. So yeah, look, they do go a bit more into things that might fit enthusiastic consent. So a person says yes, but they're too frightened to say no. That is not consent. It's good. When dealing with situations or issues about consent, it's always important to double check that you are reading it right. That's good as well. Right. I'm a little bit disappointed. I came on stream for a fucking, to completely roast whatever was happening. But those fucking headlines, I'll tell you what, newspaper headlines, even when you think they're going to be okay, they're not always that funny. So let's have a look at some of the articles. I think there was a BuzzFeed article. Australian milkshake consent. So do you know the difference between a milkshake and a thick shake? Obviously a thick shake's thicker, but some people will say a thick shake is when you can put the straw in the drink straight up and down and it will suspend itself in the liquid because the liquid is that viscous. But that is actually incorrect. A milkshake actually requires that level of viscosity, and a thick shake is when a straw is almost impossible to drink it. So there's a bit of trivia for you, and that is completely baseless. That is my own opinion, and that's not going to do you any good at all. BuzzFeed. Let's look at the BuzzFeed article, because the BuzzFeed article is going to be the most potentially hilarious one. Look at all those lovely ads that are coming up for everyone. The video that's meant to be teaching teenagers about consent has been deemed a big fail. Now, they're strong words. I probably wouldn't deem it a big fail. This morning, the internet was afire with talk about the latest mishap by Scott Morrison and the Australian government. The culprit, a new video that aims to educate teenagers on as first reported by news.com.au, Rupert Murdoch, the video in question is a bit of a hot mess. It features a woman smearing a milkshake over a man's... Where did I hear tacos? I must be super misinformed. I just picked up tacos from fucking nowhere. So they're just going across the same stuff. All these situations illustrated under the backdrop of a retro-esque diner, with the girl being positioned as the abuser, which was certainly an interesting choice to make. As Ring pointed out, and I think Joan might have pointed out as well, this video is made as part of the Good Society, a teaching resource designed to educate students about respectful relationships. Okay, here we go. Let's get into some of the responses. Many to choose from, but this is the worst government media campaign I've ever seen. I'll be honest, they're not giving me a huge amount of evidence for this position. Well, the Aussie churches, there'll be a third line dead in the center, and it will be Jesus. And you don't cross Jesus, right? Like, you do not cross Jesus. Maybe the Holy Spirit, probably Jesus. Can I revoke the consent I gave momentarily to watch this? My brain feels dirty and violated. Something so cringeworthy, I can't even watch it all. Actually, it conjured up by creepy old antiquated robots who are so out of touch that they thought it was worth throwing money at. Empathy starts with having a vague idea about the people you're engaging with. Okay, that I will accept as, yeah, I can see the point. Like, if you step back for a moment and you think about all the money that would have been spent on this, and I didn't have the right screen up, then yeah, that's definitely worth a bit of a ping, I think, because they could have done so much better. Like, it would have been easy to do something that was a bit more relevant and a bit more, like I said, direct to the message, because these are young adults. These aren't children. They're not adults, but they are sort of young adults, particularly if we think about, the book section in the library for these people is literally young adult literature. So, hey, big shout out to Isabel Carmody. Great book series. I understood consent before this video, and now I don't. The government's milkshake consent video is fucked. It's sexual but doesn't mention sex. Actually, there's a point, right? There's a point that I will pay 100%. And I didn't click onto this myself until just now, but yes, we're talking to 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and I think we can just say, hey, sex, all right? Sex. We are using milkshakes because we don't want this video to be pornographic, but we are talking about sex. Especially when she smears his face. Doesn't she say something that sort of alludes to sort of, the money shot, so to speak? And they shy away from it. I think, definitely embrace it. Kids that age, fucking Zoomers, TikTokers, they'll love that shit. They'll eat that shit right up. And, hand out milkshakes during the lesson plan too. Make it a complete sensory engagement. There's potential here, but they just don't lean into it. I keep clicking on it. Focuses on maintaining relationships. Okay, this tweet is kind of fire, actually. And the statistically unlikely female perpetrator is the only one offered support. Okay. I've done a blind watch, and I'll cop to the fact that this is a better analysis than what I've given so far. And they articulate some of those criticisms, I think, a bit more directly than what I did. So everybody, this is the tweet that summarizes this video, right? So everything up until now has been a waste of your time. But this is what it is. Hell, I'm going to retweet it right now because it is. It's like, do you want to read the article first? I'm like, yes, I read the article. I was just on the article. Okay, truly appalling for so many reasons. Surprised if young people do not totally pan this dreadful stuff. Treats them like complete dills. Yeah, so look. And back to BuzzFeed, the paragons of media. Yeah, teenagers are smarter than this. Analogies are great, blah, blah, blah. All right, okay. All right, okay. That's good, John. You're on the, I was going to say easy side. 17. Yeah, it's close to easy side. That's when they wait. In 2021, 17-year-olds, did they move out soon? I moved out of home when I was 17. Yeah, so although I know a lot of kids don't these days, although I do know someone I went to high school with who still lives at home with their parents. But they're a Christian and unmarried, and seeing as they're 38 this year, technically they should still be a virgin. Probably not though, but anyway. Off topic, and I did not have their enthusiastic consent to talk about that, even though the fact that I didn't name them. So, short video today. Just wanted to go through that. Man, I was hoping that was going to be more interesting. That's the shame of these blind reacts. Sometimes they just sort of fizzle, but hey, that is the life of people that live stream and put minimal effort into preparing for live streams because they think that genuine interactions have value and entertainment. So, but thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for watching. Hope it was, at least entertaining to watch. I don't want to lean too much into the bashing Scott Morrison on this particular one because he probably didn't have too much to do with it. Oh, look. Okay. No. All right. Come on. Let's man up. Let's be a man. And let's, this is put out by a government that has had numerous cases of sexual misconduct allegations made against their party members, including allegations of rape in the fucking party headquarters, where those messages have been minimized and rejected, and basically everything that has been done possible to sweep those allegations aside and to ignore them and to minimize the culpability that we all have in ensuring that issues of consent and sexual abuse are actually looked at and brought to light, and actually go through some process of achieving justice, whatever justice looks like at the end of that. The fact that they're bringing this out now, if I was to put on my cynical hat, which is probably fair, is a ploy to try and whitewash their reputation that has taken a massive hit, so that when it comes time for elections, they can point to this and go, hey, look, we're doing what we can to ensure that sexual abuse is addressed. Never mind that this particular piece, as the earlier tweet pointed out, has done nothing to address the propensity with which women are the targets of this violence, and has done nothing to address specifically the way that power imbalances between people such as employers and employees can actually create these situations as well. Like we said, we're talking about people that are in grade 10, 11, and 12. These are people that are going to be moving into the workforce potentially and starting to go into environments that are not as well regulated as high schools, where there are more chances for things to go wrong in terms of power dynamics being abused. And the fact that they didn't use this as an opportunity to address those systemic issues that we have seen in their own fucking party, you know what? We are going to finish this with a 0. A big fat fucking F, because they are trying to minimize. They have used the lightest terminology possible. Actually, you know what? Let's go back. Let's rewind to the first time they talk about crossing the line, and they used the word that it might be irritating. Was it irritating? It was irritating, wasn't it? Crossing the line of consent is never irritating. It is abuse. It is it's abuse. it started abuse. That's the mildest thing you can say about it. Not irritate. You know, okay. Let me find what the actual exact word they fucking used with. I suddenly got angry about this. I think I was in my head, I'm like, this is frothy. This is, you know, it's going to be a bit of a cringe. It's going to be, you know, the olds trying to talk to the youngs about sex. And then they don't actually talk about sex. And then they fucking minimize
Moving
the
the
role
line.
of consent. All right, where is it? Okay, here we go.
When a
So, yes, bearing in mind, this is just a teaching aid, but this is a teaching aid that has been scripted, that has been reviewed, that has been approved, that has then gone through the filming process and has had final approval and is being sent out to every fucking school in Australia for use in teaching about consent. And their first way of describing an interaction that consent is not given is...
person imposes their will on you, it's as if they were moving the yes line over the maybe zone or the end zone, ignoring your rich inner world and violating your individual freedoms and rights. And that's not good. Moving the line is at least disrespectful, at worst abusive.
It's just a funny game, Bailey. I know you really like.
So that's the point where this video gets thrown out and is completely fucking reveals itself as being propaganda designed to minimize sexual abuse and its impacts on people. Good memory there, Ring, because I know you got to that well before I actually found that in the clip, so I'm glad one of us is listening. Holy shit. Disrespectful. Imagine that. You know what's disrespectful? Disrespectful is not saying hello to someone in the morning when you get to work or you get to class. That's disrespectful, right? When you walk straight past them, you don't say anything to them. That's disrespectful. But that's not abuse. If someone says no when you want to engage with them physically, that is not disrespectful. That is abuse. And in most cases, that type of abuse would also be criminal. So I think, yeah, disrespectful is... Fuck me. My government, everyone. I know that probably sounds trite coming from an Australian with what some of you other lovely people are dealing with in your governments. So I will not belabor the point. But look, our short stream has become 45 minutes, or probably close to half an hour because I had quite a long go live part while I was getting everything ready. But thank you everyone for jumping in. Appreciate it. I'm going to try and do more short, quick stuff like this. We'll see how they go. We'll watch the numbers. We'll see how the analytics pass out. And we'll keep going from there. So if you're watching this in the future, because I know all the people that are here now are subscribed, but if you are watching this in the future, please consider subscribing, liking the video, sharing the video. Maybe this is probably worth me editing down and turning into something short and snappy to see how that picks up in the algorithm. And I think it's time for me to go and start getting ready for bed. And by start getting ready for bed, I mean watching some anime, because I'm a fucking weeb. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you on the next episode.